Haugen, and today we have our special guest Robin J on the air. And Robin J, she is a movie maker, right?
Filmmaker, writer, producer.
A producer, and you have produced some of those films of you having this one, The Secrets of the Keys, Unlock Your Dream. So would you love to tell us what you feel about this movie making and what's resonated in your heart? What have you been learning? What are you feeling from all of this making? What's the good feeling story there for you?
It's unlike anything anyone could ever imagine. And as writer and producer, and then I co-star in it because I really wanted uh, the fictional characters. They're hybrids. We have fictional characters who are dealing with issues in life, and they're able to go to the experts and thought leaders to get advice on what's going on and how they should, just get some guidance. And so by having the fictional characters, I think viewers are able to relate to those characters and gain the knowledge from the thought leaders in a more organic method than just a talking head documentary. You know how the secret was, which was very incredibly successful. But what I was trying to do was raise the bar, because after the secret, a lot of people produced just these talking head documentaries, and they're very hard to watch. It's like reading a book, and in some cases it's nice to see someone moving around and telling you their story. But I thought if we could fictionalize it a little bit and then have the experts give advice, that it would be a better experience for the viewers to be able to watch the movie. And they're the kind of movies you can watch again and again. You'll always get something different from it. So my first movie that I did was The Keeper of the Keys, which I know you have a copy of that somewhere. And it stars Jack Canfield, who created Chicken Soup for the Soul. And he was in my anthology series that I published too. And then John Gray, you see here, John wrote Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, which was a huge blockbuster hit. And then Marcy Shimoff, who is the reason Chicken Soup for the Soul became a series. So it's so nice to have all these greetings pop up. Thank you. Anyway, so I wanted to raise the bar on the personal development film genre, the self-help film genre, and make them more compelling and more engaging. And so I've done 3 movies so far, and we call them the Key Movies. And it's The Keeper of the Keys, The Secrets of the Keys, and my newest one, which is Becoming the Keys. The message of this one is incredible, because what the story really exemplifies is that everything is happening for you, not to you. And it's such a tremendous paradigm shift in your life. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I'm so miserable, or I'm so unhappy, to just instead say, okay, there is something good that's going to come from this, or this is a lesson I'm supposed to learn, or this is putting me on a different path. And once you open your mind to accept that the circumstances in your life, good, bad, or otherwise, are for you, not to you, life gets a little easier. And the subtext of this movie is that everybody is dealing with something. Everybody is dealing with something. And it's not everybody's, birthday or day at the beach, or it's actually everybody's dealing with something. Again, good, bad, or otherwise, you don't know what they're dealing with. So it's better if we can be kinder to everyone that we meet, because we just don't know what they're dealing with.
Oh, back again.
I see that. We're having some technical, Mercury left retrograde yesterday. We shouldn't be having technical difficulties yet.
It's all good. It's all well. So for sure. So tell me about, because you have been experienced, I know from the movie, what was your shift for coming into place, for feeling good now and knowingness that all is well and all is good, and you can feel that alignment is always with you, and you can have that energy working with you always, because it's something from within. So what is your perspective on that, for like your feelings when you talk about feelings aspects in life?
Hmm. Well, I think it comes down to the key of faith, actually. I should say that the movies, all of the key movies focus on 7 keys, and they are appreciation, harmony, passion, courage, faith, vibration, and empathy. Vibration meaning energy. Uh,
Mm.
and the key of faith is really what keeps us going. When you just know that there's a purpose, when you know that things will get better, when you know, I have a friend who's dealing with so much negativity right now, and she doesn't even see it as negativity. She's kind of my spiritual guru. She's just like, well, it'll all work out, it's all great. I'm like, where do you get this from? So I learned from her, from watching other people. Being in the self-help personal development industry, Espen, makes a huge difference too. I really can't complain to anybody about anything because they're like, I thought you were a motivational speaker. So the bar is this high for me. So I don't have a lot of patience or tolerance for hearing about, things that aren't really serious challenges. I mean, if it's not life and death, you're going to get through it. And it's interesting, the story, the narrative story, the fictional story in The Secrets of the Keys was actually inspired by something that happened to me in 2001 when my doctor had me believing that I wasn't going to make it. I was diagnosed with hyaluradenopathy, which is a symptom of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I did get healed. And so now anything that is not life and death is manageable. It's something you can get through. And even with life and death, if you're really spiritual, you know that we're all here. We all leave exactly when we're supposed to. We come and go. And it's hard for some of us who are left when we believe someone died too soon or tragically. It's hard. It's thinking in a different kind of way than the average person thinks. It's really embracing that. I mean, I'm so happy to be alive. And I had a girlfriend staying with me a few years ago, and while she was here, my water heater broke. So I had a little flood in the back part of the house. And I said, oh, okay. And I went outside and I turned off the water heater, and I sat at my desk and I called Home Depot, which is where we go for things like water heaters. And I ordered one, and they said they would be here the next day to install it. And I gave them my credit card, and it was handled. And my friend was sitting in the room with me, and she said, how are you so calm? And I was like, it's a water heater. It's not, it's not anything more serious than that. And so it's easier for me to walk the talk because I've been to such a dire place, such a scary place, and wanting to know now, that everything is manageable, everything is doable. You write down goals, you achieve them, you make progress, we share, we help each other. And that's really how I see life.
So through your own alignment, you're just like, like when you knowing your own feelings, because we know we all are our own creators. We all are having our own experience in everything in life, and everyone have the differences. And the knowing that all is good, all is well, always in the source energy, always in who we truly are, the present of who we are. It is always an open, free love for us, and knowing
Yes.
that nothing is against us, everything is really for us, and coming into that place in good peace. Like also people who transition, I like something when I was watching your movie, you see, still people not here, but they are here because there's an energy that's here, and
Mm-hmm.
that energy and everything is connected and collective. So it's not, we are so secure in ourselves, we are so safe in ourselves and who we truly are. And can you expand more on that, for how would, your experience, because you have experienced already the contrast of almost because near of transition to the other world, but knowingness that when you're having a contrast, sometimes there is always a person I interview say something really beautiful. She say every time you feel when there's something negatively go on, there is always growth happening in the moment of that.
I feel a tremendous sense of purpose, and I
Hmm.
think that's very helpful. And I was telling you before we started today, that it's such a period of transition for me because I'm not making another movie.
Hmm.
And so it's like, okay, what do I do now? Well, I have three businesses. I run a speakers bureau. I speak myself. I'm writing, okay, maybe four businesses. I have an online course where I teach speakers how to present and how to monetize their speaking careers. And so I have a lot to do, but I'm so used to juggling so many balls. And the movies, when the movies come up, the online course takes a back seat, everything else takes a back seat. And so I'm very driven, I have a tremendous sense of purpose. And now that I'm not making another movie and I'm trying to find my way of what my priorities are each day, because the movie is really just, it's got a life of its own. And it's interesting. I lost my mom a year ago this week. And I just want to share, we were sitting in a golf cart. We played golf the week before she went in the hospital. She was 88. And I think it was in September we were playing golf and we had to wait for the people in front of us to move ahead. And it was just amazing that she was 88 and still playing golf and 9 holes on a short course. And she turned to me and she said, "Why am I still here?" And I looked at her and she was kind of ornery. And I said, "Did you ever think maybe God's afraid to take you?" And she got this devilish look on her face and said, "I've thought of that." you know, but it helped me too that when she finally did pass, I know she was ready. She was absolutely ready. And not everybody gets that blessing. Some of us are taken way too soon or more dramatically or tragically. But I know the hard part is for me, not for her. So I have been handed a lot of adversity this year. I was telling you that she passed on November 22nd last year, and I had to get the movie finished, Becoming the Keys. I had to get that in post-production and finish that up in December. The premiere was January 17th. And on January 18th, I did the Keys Academy live event where some of the experts in the movie got to share their messages in an audience with an audience. And I came home from that. My cousin was in town helping me with everything, and she wanted to go to the casino afterwards because I am in Las Vegas. And we got home about 12:30 at night, and there was this much water in my house, in the whole house, all over. And I've been dealing with that all year. So maybe God just wants to see if I can really walk the talk this year. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it wasn't life and death. And I've managed. My house is almost done now, 11 months later. But it's been very challenging to focus on work, to focus on new work. And basically, it helped me to frame it that I am trying to establish my new normal, whatever that's going to be. And life is transition. They always say the only thing you can count on is change, right? So I am going through this period of transition. And so more than I usually need to do, I'm listening to motivational tapes, watching motivational videos. I have a few, my friend Lori that I mentioned before, who's dealing with so much right now. And it really helps to have those, we've never lived in a time where the technology is so fantastic, where you can go on YouTube and pull up Esther Hicks and watch a 15-minute video and it snaps you out of whatever funk you might have been in. Or watch a movie like The Keeper of the Keys or Becoming the Keys, where like in just an hour and a half, you can change your whole life. You can hear something that's going to make you happier and more productive and move forward past any hurdles. So I kind of have to laugh. All my friends go, "Well, Robin, it's happening for you, not to you." And I'm like, "Oh, shush." Because it is hard when you get that moment to walk the talk. And hopefully I'm getting through it all and doing okay.
Absolutely, and you're doing fantastic. And thanks for everything you share. And I love what you share. So you talk about Esther Hicks and Abraham Hicks. What is your experience with those materials for you? What is that resonate with you in listening to Abraham?
Okay, I have to go back to where I was like 10 years old, my father used to punish, he calls it discipline, punish my sister and I by making us listen to Earl Nightingale records. You know who Earl Nightingale is?
Yeah.
Like the father of personal development, right? And we would sit in front of the hi-fi stereo, I'm a little older than you, and listen to Lead the Field. Good attitude, good results. Bad attitude, bad results. And we would be like, oh, no, don't make us listen to this. And we had to sit there and listen. So I grew up with the influence of personal development and self-help. And when I turned 30 and I got divorced, and I called my brother, and it was a point where I was on all fours, emotionally, spiritually. And he said, go read Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. And I remember buying the book and almost being embarrassed because I was at a bookstore remember bookstores? Anyway, and I was walking out with this Think and Grow Rich book, and I thought it sounded like Get Rich Quick. And I was embarrassed to buy it, and I wrapped it up in the bag, and then I started reading it. And then I noticed a lot of my successful peers, I would run into them, and they had a copy on their day planner when everything was just paper. We didn't have our cell phones yet. And everybody who's successful has read Think and Grow Rich. And I ate it up. And then I called my brother again, and I said, what now? What should I read next? And he said, how about Your Erroneous Zones from Wayne Dyer? Another gem. And I read Your Erroneous Zones, and then I read Pulling Your Own Strings, which was amazing. If any of your viewers are feeling like someone else is calling the shots or directing their life, or if you have someone who's a people pleaser and they're trying to make everyone else in their life happy, I think Pulling Your Own Strings is a tremendous book to read. Wayne Dyer really calls you out on that. It was so powerful, and it's just amazing to know that there's so much self-help out there. In fact, when I went to do The Keeper of the Keys, I had reached out to Stephen Simon to see if he would direct it for me. And Stephen is the co-founder of Spiritual Cinema Circle. He's done amazing movies, more than I can name here, but he did What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams and Cuba Gooding Jr., and he produced Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour, which is like the best chick flick ever. And I had emailed him to see if he would direct my movie. I didn't know where he was or how much he cost or anything. I was just kind of shooting for the moon. Bold actions net bold results. So the next day I got a phone call, and it was an area code from Oregon, and I was getting ready to speak to the Oregon Bankers Association, so I just figured it was my client. And I remember I answered the phone and I said, this is Robin, and I heard, Robin, Stephen Simon. I flipped. I was doing my little happy dance here in my office, and I was like, seriously, he called me, and he said, everything that ever needs to be done in self-help has been done. Every book has been written, which he and I still go around on that because, one woman writing, the first woman to write a book about breast cancer was Betty Rollins, I believe, the news anchor, and it was called First You Cry. And I said to him, Christina Applegate had breast cancer and wrote a book, and she's absolutely got a totally different audience than Betty Rollins had. You're talking about a 40-year difference in age between one and the other. So someone who would like Christina Applegate's book, probably Betty Rollins' book wouldn't resonate with her. So I keep telling him there's a better way to do things and to make it more relevant, make it more current. So, but being with Spiritual Cinema Circle, he's seen thousands of self-help movies, and I don't know, maybe there is some crossover there. But anyway, he said, you know why I called you? You put something in your letter that caught my imagination and my attention. And I said, what? He said, you said you wanted to make something different that had never been done before in this genre. And he said, to do that successfully, you would have to make it so critically different, like funny, And I said, oh my God, I'm all about being funny. And that's what I was hoping to do, was to, there's nothing of humor in most of these self-help films. And I said, I would love to do a really funny self-help film. And so when we did The Keeper of the Keys, I reached out to Scott Servine, who ended up directing it for me, but Stephen mentored me through the whole process. And we spoke about every week or every other week and talked about how it was going on. Interesting, in November when we had the rough cut and we sent it to him, he had a massive heart attack and he wanted to watch it. He said, if my wife knew I was watching this in bed, she'd kill me. But he watched the movie and he said it was so fantastic. And we had succeeded in doing what we wanted to do, which was to make self-help more enjoyable, funny, more real life, not just like a lecture or hearing a bunch of thought leaders talk about it. So that's this one, the first one. And it really is fun. And my cast of experts were just incredible. I have Steve Olsher in this, who does podcast magazine he just launched. Derek Mills in the UK, Lena Sue, who was from Taiwan. I've got people from all over the country here and some other countries even. So it was quite the experience. And then I couldn't wait to do my next film. So, and share my story about when I thought I was going to die. And that's what this one is, really. The Secrets of the Keys is, I actually have a role in here, a character, and my character gets a call from her doctor that she's not going to make it. So it was inspired by what happened to me, and they're really beautiful. And these little eco wallets, you can carry them with you, and you get to meet all the experts who are in them. So that's kind of the big background of how I got into this. I've always felt like I was just destined to do this, probably because of my dad's influence when I was very young. And by the way, he's 90 and still working. Amazing.
So fun. So you're having an upcoming film also now in, was it January?
This past January is when I released Becoming the Keys. So it's out. It's this one, the third one. And they're all available, by the way, on Vimeo On Demand. And you just go vimeo.com/on-demand/ and then the title of the movie, The Secrets of the Keys, The Keeper of the Keys, or Becoming the Keys. And they're very affordable to stream or download. And I recommend you download them because you're going to want to watch it again and again and again. It's a lot of content in each movie. Don't you agree?
It's very beautiful. I love them, the Secrets of the Keys. And I have a friend of mine also, William Liu. He's a part of that.
What?
So William Liu, he's one of those in the movie. So
who's that?
William.
Oh, William Liu.
Yeah.
Oh God, he is so special. I couldn't hear you. He came down for the premiere of Becoming the Keys. I just saw him in January. And, you know, it's interesting because he went through, everyone calls it a dark night of the soul, but when we finished The Secrets of the Keys, he was dealing with a lot. And he's gotten through it now. And his life, he has created this amazing life. He's got a wonderful girlfriend and he's taking dancing lessons and he travels the world and he gets up in the morning and does whatever he wants to do. I've never seen anyone transform so quickly. I think 2 or 3 years. And he is just such a blessing. And that's one of my biggest gifts in doing the movies, is in getting to meet and work with so many positive thought leaders. You know, one of the experts in Becoming the Keys is Doug Smith. Hang on a minute. There he is. Doug Smith. There.
Yeah.
And Doug was a professional hockey player. And he hit the boards with his head going about 50 miles an hour and was a quadriplegic. He couldn't move from the neck down. And today he skates in exhibition games. He was able to heal and he speaks on trauma now. And he's just genius, absolute genius. You know, he's still dealing with a brain injury, but he's one of the fittest people I've ever seen. And he still plays hockey. And he is just remarkable. And one of the things that he speaks on, his book is called The Trauma Code. And he helps people deal. In fact, his website is system438.com. If anyone wants to write that down or look at that, and there's 4 types of trauma: cumulative physical trauma, and catastrophic physical trauma, and catastrophic emotional trauma, and cumulative emotional trauma. And he explains in the movie that that's the ticking time bomb. When someone is dealing with emotional trauma on an extended basis, that's when people snap. People need to learn more coping skills, whether it's journaling or meditation or watching videos that lift them up. I think it's such tremendous content that he's sharing. And as president of the Speakers Bureau, I'm excited to work with him and get him booked for more paid speaking engagements so that he can bring his message to more groups. I think when we have so many people just acting out, last week we had 2 shootings here, one in California and one in Oklahoma. People just don't know how to cope with their anger, their frustration. There are answers. There are people out there who can help you with this. And in fact, one of my friends is Tanya Brown, and she's Nicole Brown Simpson's sister. You know, Nicole Brown Simpson is the one who was married to O.J. Simpson and was murdered. And Tanya's story, she actually wrote the foreword. Oh, in my first Power of the Plat. Oh no, this one, the third one. You can see foreword by Tanya Brown, and she went to Beverly Hills High School and lost about 5 friends back to back, seemingly in her senior year. Traffic accidents, drug overdoses, all kinds of trauma. And then her very best friend died. And then her sister was murdered in the most high profile murder case. It was all over TV all the time. She was very young when all that happened. She was, I think, 17 or 18. And then she was going to get married about a year or 2 after Nicole was murdered. And her fiance stood her up at the altar, which is something I don't understand anyone ever doing that. How about a phone call? I'm not going to be there, you know. Anyway, so she was just devastated, and she was suicidal, and she ended up in a sanitarium where they taught her coping skills, journaling, meditation, how to take charge of her life. Well, she's got a degree now, and she is coaching other people and helping other people get through their trauma. And she's written a book, and she's got a website. I think it's TanyaBrown.com or TanyaBrown.net. And I mean, this is someone who has had so much adversity and public adversity. You know, most of us suffer in silence. Hers was on the front page and on every TV station, and it still goes on with O.J. Simpson. And, you know, every time he makes news, she has to be able to deal with that. And she is just such a light. If you want to interview her, I'll hook you up, because I think your viewers would really enjoy getting to hear her story. It's just humbling when you meet someone who is so together after going through so much.
And isn't that beautiful, Robin? Because we all people in the world, we have different kinds of things going through, but also when you share all this story, what I love is like, but it always turn out good. It always turn out in the feeling good.
It does.
And isn't that like for me, when you share all of this, for me, when I feel this, it's like a more feelings of everything is really for us. You know, I come to a place that knowingness that nothing is against us, everything is for us. You know, we came into this world, you know, we had Edward Hicks talking about it. I've been very much listening to her, but most important, listening to myself. That's the most important journey, because when you start listening to yourself, because no one else is you. You are you, me and me. And when you have that understanding of your own emotion and you're having all personal guidance, it's leading you always. And when there is something negative happen, it always it's already expanding on the good aspects of it. It's already expanding the feel good aspects of it when there is something going on again. And that's just a knowingness that there is nothing going backwards. It's nothing moving backwards and going back to the past. It's always moving forward. And when you're learning yourself to go downstream with your feeling and feeling the energy of who you are, and it turns out to be good. It's just telling, everything works out fine. Everything always works out fine, and it's all for us. And whatever was happening, whatever situation, whatever was going on with anybody, if you have the opportunity to turn around and shift and feel for yourself your own alignment, because the alignment never depending or on you on anything. It's always connected to you. So
It's
just like,
just hard to see it when you're in the midst of an adversity.
mhm.
I'll grant that. It's hard to believe that something good is going to come from such a terrible situation if you're dealing with that right now. And you just, that's again where the key of faith comes in, and the key of vibration. The best way to raise your key of vibration is the key of appreciation. If you practice gratitude every day. Even, and in the first movie, in The Keeper of the Keys, Jack Canfield tells a story, which ironically, Joe Vitale, it was his story, and he shared it in Becoming the Keys, that at one point he had nothing. He had a pencil. And I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but he's had a pencil and he could write a suicide note, or he could write a grocery list, or he could write, anything. And then he realized there's an eraser on it. And how fantastic is that? We don't have an eraser in life. You can erase what you write. You could erase the suicide note. You could write a novel. You could write a movie screenplay or a journal, whatever. And he had nothing. And he just started practicing gratitude every day. And okay, I have a roof over my head. I have a pair of shoes. I have a light bulb in my room, and it was one of those that was just hanging on a cord, like when you have nothing. And he started writing, and he's today very successful. So do your it's about feeling it. I like that. Do any of your viewers have any questions? Maybe Jen can help us.
For sure. If there's any viewers have any question to Robin about anything.
About speaking, writing, the movies, the key movies. Oh, and you can go to the website, thekeymovies.com. The key movies. That's why I wear a key all the time. To stay mindful of the keys, the 7 keys. Does anyone have any questions? Can you see? I mean, I would have to get very close to see this. How about you? Do you have questions for me, Espen?
Yeah, so it's it's talking about William Liu. So I know I've been speaking about it, but he also was in a Abraham Hicks cruise ship, I know, and he now traveled all over the world. And you say that when things are you know that it's always a turnaround, but it's always flowing energy.
And sometimes it's darkest before the dawn. Those old sayings are still around because they're so true. And when you're at your very lowest point, you just have to know that it's going to turn around. When you hit rock bottom, you can only go up.
That's true. And then moving forward, it's so true. And yeah, it's all working out there for us. It's so good. So how is so you're making this writing and those types of making movies, and so how is your day looking like for you? Feel good? How are you starting your day? Like in the morning, we talk about meditation, talking about appreciation, you speak about that, and how are you like starting your day, Robin? And
I start out with meditation, and then I do. It was funny. Vishen on mindvalley.com talked about the 20-20-20, where you do 20 minutes of exercise when you first get up, then 20 minutes of meditation, and then 20 minutes of motivation. And I try to do that. I don't do it every day because things come up. But it's a really great way to start your day. First of all, when you work out first thing in the morning, it's out of the way. Because if you don't do it first thing in the morning, it's not going to get done. Things are going to come up. people. I'm meeting a friend for dinner tonight. It's not going to happen if I didn't get it done this morning. Plus, I knew I'd be more awake, more lively for our conversation today if I got my workout in. And then meditate. Sometimes if I try to meditate first, I will fall back asleep, which is not the desired outcome. So I get up and work out and then meditate. And then motivate is what I was saying before, watching 20 minutes of Mind, Body, Spirit, or something from Esther Hicks, or even calling one of my friends to share with them what's going on. And and then I do email, social media, and then I actually start writing and working and promoting and handling business. It's been very hard this year because I've had so many contractors in the house because of the flood. So it's been hard to work and focus because most of my work requires tremendous focus. And I'm on a dead end of a street and I live alone, so it's very quiet. And instead this year it has been, people at the door. That my tile guy took about 8 weeks to lay the tile in here. He worked alone, and so that was hard. And then the bathroom and everything that needed doing, tile, shower, carpet, it was every day for 10 months. And I'm like, okay, is this a test? Is this a test of my concentration? So I'd end up working in the evening, trying to find that time when it's quiet and I can focus. And it really was a challenge, and that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So now when it is quiet and I'm home alone and I can work, I'm so grateful for that time that everything with the construction and reconstruction is behind me, and I never want to go through that again. So, but it didn't kill me. I'm fine, and I'm grateful for every day. And I think no matter what anyone is dealing with, you can do it. You'll get through it. I think it was in my first movie that Jack Canfield said, you cannot have a dream that you do not have the capacity to fulfill. He says, if you have a dream of when I wrote my first book, I had a friend, not a friend anymore, but like a lifelong friend who had said to me, why would you think anyone would pay you to write a book? I sold it to a publisher. It's in 12 languages. I wrote The Art of the Business Lunch, Building Relationships Between 12 and 2. I eventually sold it to Career Press, and they sold it. It's in Italian, Vietnamese, Korean, 2 Chinese versions, and so on. And so what I've developed is a reputation for doing what I say I'm going to do. And by the time I did this book, and then I did the anthologies, when I said, I'm going to make a movie, not one person said, you've never made a movie before. Why do you think you could make a movie? So they always say, tell the world what your intentions are, but show them first. Everybody can say, I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to be this or that, a thought leader. Do it first. I don't, in an interview, it's different, but I don't normally, post on social media, hey, I did this, I did that. I want people to watch my movies, read the books, know what's going on, and understand that this is helpful. This could be very helpful for them. And so I'm driven to do this, but it's very hard if you have, a husband or a wife or a parent who tells you you can't do something. Try and prove them wrong, and don't even tell them you're working on it, because you will get some flack. It's funny. I see that on I'm on a keto site on Facebook. I was doing the keto diet for a little while, and the ladies will write that they're losing so much weight. Their friends are telling them, oh, that's not healthy. That's not good. You should stop. And I'm talking about people who weigh 250 pounds and they're suddenly down 50 pounds. God bless them for doing it. And it is a healthy diet if people would do their research, but I don't know if people are jealous or small-minded and they're putting them down, it's so easy to sabotage something like that. So it's very important to choose people to hang out in your life who are going to support you and believe in you. And I've had people say, well, what am I supposed to do? Drop my friends? And I'm like, well, kind of phase them out a little bit. If somebody doesn't tell you that everything you do is fabulous and that you're great and you're capable of whatever you dream up, whatever you want to do, as Napoleon Hill said, what the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. If somebody in your life is telling you that's not true, spend less time with them, because the negative influence is really tremendous. It's very damaging. You want to be around people who tell you that you're fabulous and I can't believe you did all this, is amazing, and people who lift you up and say you're going to do whatever you say you're going to do. But yeah, I went through that a lot when I changed careers. I sold advertising for 20 years for radio, TV, and then a magazine, and was very, very successful at it. So when I quit my job, a 6-figure job, to write The Art of the Business Lunch, I had a lot of people in my life who said, really? You quit your job? People don't understand that. My dad even said a lot, which was, hard for me. He said, people just don't understand how you could quit a 6-figure job. And I'm like, that was around the time of my diagnosis. And I said, Dad, the stress from the job was taking its toll on me. And I wouldn't be around in a year if I continued at it, I think. And so I really felt, I felt like my spiritual guides were, basically kicking my butt and making me change jobs and making me find something new and more productive and get back on my path that I was supposed to be on. That goes back to what I said about the purpose and the passion, the key of passion. That if you're not happy, if you're not waking up every morning saying, oh, I can't wait to start the day, you need to make some serious changes in your life, your work, your relationships. It takes a lot of work, and it takes acknowledging that things need changing.
So yeah. So I appreciate everything you share here, Robin. Thanks a lot. We are just in the top of the hour, and it's been a pleasure to have you here sharing your story and those things that, I'm appreciative of everything you share with your movies and with your writings and with your story with your mom, and it's so nice to know that there is so many people all over the world that have so much beautiful inside of themselves, and we all have. And and the people who are love to share it, they are free to share it. And isn't it nice that there is so many people that are doing it more and more now, for finding their own alignment, or being in their own alignment, feeling their own sense of who they truly are. And we have so many people all over the world who have gone through process and can share their story that can inspire and share the story from their own alignment, and share stories to people all over the world for uplifting and knowing that you are worthy, and and you deserve all of it.
Thank you. And they can friend me on Facebook at Robin J, like two birds, ROBINJAY, and follow the Key Movies. And you'll see I'm about to start writing more on, I have 3 websites. I have the Las Vegas Convention Speakers Bureau, which is lvcsb.com. I have robinj.com, and I have thekeymovies.com. And like I said, this has been a challenging year for staying on top of all of that, but I manage. And I'm gearing back up to re-release. I'm redesigning and re-releasing Insider Secrets, Keys to 6-Figure Speaking, because people who have a really powerful message need to get it out and share. And I get contacted as president of the Las Vegas Convention Speakers Bureau by clients who are looking for speakers who can help on leadership, sales, motivation, inspiration, overcoming adversity, the basic topics that we have a lot of conventions and conferences here in Las Vegas, and we need speakers. And so anyone who's at like a $5,000 per keynote level, I like to work with them and be able to represent the Bureau and help the clients that I have through the Bureau have a speaker who's really going to hit it out of the park for their audience. It's really, it's such a unique city here in Las Vegas. And we always call it the convention capital. It's just a lot of meetings going on every day. And so I'm excited to really ramp up. Like I said, the movies have always taken precedence because there's deadlines and it's more urgent. So in the new year, I'm looking to help speakers monetize their messages and show them how to do that with Insider Secrets, Keys to Six-Figure Speaking. And I'll be posting that. I always post that on my Facebook page. I hope to release that like in January. I may do the top 20 speakers for 2020, a competition. And then probably next fall, I'll do a Keys Academy live event again, either a cruise or a destination. So it's a lot going on. I'm excited. I'm excited. Can't wait.
So I so appreciate you, Robin. Thanks for everything you shared. I will definitely check out your last movie, The Becoming of the Key. So
Keys, it's so good. And we filmed it at the same home. It's my doctor's estate in Boulder City, Nevada, where Hoover Dam is. And we filmed in the same house. And it's this incredible estate. And everywhere you turn, there's a new scene where we could film. Mandy Morris is in the movie. Joe Vitale, like I said, Brian Tracy, Daniel Brinkley, who was struck and killed by lightning and was dead for 20 minutes. And he came back. And then Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote The Four Agreements, is in it. And a lot of other experts. And in the opening scene, my expert is playing a fictional character is Rachel Magario, who is a totally blind kidney transplant survivor. And she plays Sophia, who is blind and trying to find a job. And she's very upset because she can't get a job. And she thinks it's because she's blind. And we show her that it's because of her attitude, that she needs to change. And so she talks to a few experts and kind of gets straightened out, changes her alignment. And then we have Elizabeth Matheson, who is actually Catherine Brinkley's daughter. Catherine plays my spiritual guide, Gwen, in the movies. And Elizabeth was phenomenal playing Emma, who had just gone through a sea of adversity. Seriously, in the movie, she'd just gone through a terrible divorce, had blown through all her savings, and her best friend was just killed in a car accident. So she's feeling very sorry for herself. And her spiritual guides show up to take her on a journey and introduce her to experts that show her how she can get her life back on track. So it's very powerful. You'll love it. You really will.
Yeah, I love the two of the movies already. It's so fun to watch them, and I love there's so many beautiful things sharing, like you said, meditation, appreciation, and it's like things that's when we appreciate and feeling that appreciation, it just flows so much beautiful in that space. You know, you're feeling so.
It changes everything.
It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. Appreciation and meditation and writing positive aspects and writing things down that feels good for you. It's just so it's so powerful. It's so good. It feels so good. So.
Thank you so much for saying that. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And it was a pleasure to have you here. Thank you. So thank you all of viewers here listening. Thank you for your support with your energy here. And thank you, Jen, for being back office here. And thank you again, Robin, for all of you share. I so appreciate that you can.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And if you want to talk to any of the experts in the movies, just let me know and I'll connect you with them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.